The intention of this channel is to simply better understand how things can be. That is what each of us can be. Society, our country, our world. It is my intention to continue to ask questions on this, to better answer, and to work backwards in figuring out processes to work towards this. I hope you will do the same and encourage others as well. I've considered this in part for this last year and look forward to this for a second year here on YouTube. What if we lived life like we chose it? If we could choose our life, what would it be? Would you not want it to be as enjoyable as it could be? Would you not want to be present in every moment? Would you choose to spend a significant amount, often nearly all, of your life in escaping addiction? Would you choose to be engaged in things that don't matter? Would you choose to constantly judge your life by trying to impress or by comparing it to others? Would you not in every way live, plan for the greatest life you could? Would you constantly desire something you don't have, maybe can't have? Would you not want the world to be a better place because you were here? Would you not want to in every way to be everything you could be? These questions are rarely asked. Studies have shown the importance to people of competition. This can be seen by giving people two choices and seeing which they choose. One being to live very well, but not well among your peers. Or two, to live poorly, but better than any of your peers. The studies have shown the majority always choose to live better than one's peers. I find that sort of ridiculous. This is a problem with our basic thinking. We should try to simply be the best we can be. When we compare to others, we are limiting ourselves, and possibly we are comparing to what under no circumstance can we be. If we live in a selfish, competitive, self-centered world, then we continue to pay the price. We may go up at times. Inevitably, we will crash. The world then continues to be very violent. War, global pandemics continue to be present. If we work together, if we have as a priority humanity, then this changes things. Had we done this a very long time ago, we would likely be thousands of years more advanced. Wars, pandemics, poor health, violence, poverty, emotional issues would all have been a thing of the distant past. Our lives would be full of riches, unimaginable to even our most forward-thinking. We in general do not ask how to best use our brains, how to best think. We just sort of accept whatever is there, and we typically are satisfied with very little or slightly more. I'm the same. I wish I knew the very best ways to use my brain, how I might create the most profound of thoughts, how I might be as efficient and productive as I can be, to know and know how to adopt the best mindsets possible. We all underachieve in what we can be. Most people claim to be happy, but they spend significant parts, often the majority of their lives, not present. They avoid the present by video games, TV, phones, alcohol, food, shopping, drugs, and many other addictions. The more of this we do, the more our brain dies. We don't allow ourselves to be alone with our thoughts and just enjoy the moment. A typical sign of this is to claim we are bored. We spend the vast majority of our lives trying to not be present, not living. I will continue to do videos this coming year on my trips to South America, Northern Africa, Central America, the Middle East, maybe Asia, and maybe Europe. I will do various videos on how I was taught to survive, the mindset for that, which I learned. I will do biographies, at least on the philosopher, mathematician, and Frenchman René Descartes, and Ibn Battuta, who explored more of the earth than anyone in pre-modern times. He covered some 75,000 miles, or 120,000 kilometers, over 30 years. I take a further look at our education, asking how we can enhance the educational experience for everyone. Why do we not have a far greater amount of resources in education? I will cover health. I hope to start doing book summaries, and will look to organizations which operate on an exceptional level. Both of these depend on me being able to get the publishers and organizations to accept my request. This has been a bit of a challenge thus far. At a point, I would like to also follow futurists, or those consultants, authors, or think tanks which have an ability to understand what our lives in the future will look like and study decisions affecting this. I am always interested in learning processes and getting to where we want to be. Traveling is among my greatest experiences. It gives me perspectives in many ways. I can see many other ways of thinking from it. I've gotten to see the most extremes of life in this. These are all things I wish to see, to understand. It is why I've put myself often in harm's way. I've witnessed things from absolute war, massacres, and had to defend my life many times. I've seen numerous cases of genocide and the most horrible of human conditions. Beyond the lack of basic humanity, which we failed to be concerned about, we have failed ourselves for allowing these conditions to exist. But if it exists, I want to see it. I wanted to know, to understand. Another perspective it gives me is of what can be. If I look back a few decades ago and look through much of Asia, I would see poverty throughout. And yet, many of these countries have grown exponentially and are among the leaders in the world now. Why is it we don't continue this accelerated growth? Another thing I see often in my travels is a place which flourished in the past, reached amazing heights, and now has a primitive lifestyle of suffering, malnourishment, political chaos, and general misery. I can only ask why. Why did they let it happen? My channel is the result of having traveled to over 70 countries, 15 years of running my own businesses, consulting tech companies, films, a think tank, a UN-affiliated organization, the music industry, sports trainers, and others. I've read at least a couple thousand books on subjects related to my topics, have well over 15,000 pages of notes from these readings, am a former athlete, studied over 20 languages, spent time among many nomadic tribes, and have done over 10,000 hours of meditation to correct damage from concussions. Please subscribe and like, as this is how YouTube recommends this to others. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and see you in the next episode.